Alright, so today we're going to go over this setup, the assembly of this setup for the Standard Flow Ranger. To put the Standard Flow Ranger together, you need 1 liter bag of lactated ringer, the Y-type solution set, the Ranger blood warming system, standard flow, a 3-way stopcock, and your 42-inch extension. And you also want to have some alcohol swabs nearby. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is start to unbox everything. And we can immediately hang our bag up. And also note that the way these things are laid out are in the order that they're going to be assembled. So on the cartridge, if we look, we have blue and red. The blue is the input into the cartridge. The fluid goes in cold, and the output is red, because the fluid comes out hot. So this is the back end, and that's the first thing we want to assemble. So we want to grab the back end here, and we're going to pull off the red cap. And we're going to take our 3-way stopcock. If you look at it, it's sort of like a gun. The flat end is the back. And so we'll take off that part, and we put the stopcock directly on to the cartridge. Then we'll take our 42-inch extension. We'll remove the front cap from the stopcock and remove the cap on the extension, and we'll connect those together. So now the whole back end of our Ranger is complete. And now we can focus over here. So we'll remove our blue protective cap, and we're going to give an alcohol swab just to wipe down the area here. Then we'll take our blood tubing, and we want to make certain not to tear apart all the tape, or the whole thing will just fall. And we'll take the 2 ports, and we'll bring one down halfway, and we'll close it. And the other one we'll leave at the top, and we'll close it. So they both must be closed. And the point of bringing this down is because we have to put a sticker here later on. Okay? And so with that, we remove this, maintaining sterility. We don't want to touch that. And as we puncture the bag, there's 2 ways we'll know we'll break the seal. One, we'll hear and we'll feel something click, but you'll also see an air bubble rise up. So puncture, it was my air bubble, but I also felt it. So now I'm going to invert my tubing, because I want my drip chamber to accumulate some fluid, just to the point that we pass that ridge, because if we don't let some fluid accumulate in there, air will get through the line. So we'll open it up, and as the fluid begins to rise, we'll bring it down. And now we can bring the tubing down, and let everything run through until we start to get a nice flow there. Then we'll close it off from the lower port. From this point, we'll connect the end of the tubing to the input on the Ranger cartridge. Okay, and our setup is complete. It's important that we close this clamp and this clamp before we connect to the cartridge, because if fluid gets into the cartridge will not be able to fit inside the warmer. Okay? So from here, you would then have to set the Ranger up inside the actual warmer. Okay? We'll take the cartridge, and we'll slide it inside the warmer. Fall back as it goes. Good. Now we can break loose all of our tape. Okay? And now we can turn on the flow from the 2 areas that we closed at. 1 and 2. Now we can notice the drip here that lets us know that we're running. But you also want to keep an eye on the air chamber. This air chamber needs to fill up in the inverted or upside down position so that it can push air out of the system. Okay? So we'll wait for it to fill up. You can zoom in there if you want. You'll see it. And once it completely fills up, we'll turn it over and we'll park it on the side. And then we'll keep an eye on the fluid as it runs through the tube. And as it makes its way to the end and it begins to drip out, we want to inspect for air bubbles. And we'll tap all the air catches, and whatever breaks loose, we'll wait for it to make its way out of the tubing. We can't have air inside this line. Sometimes you move slow. All right. And when the last of the air bubbles are out, we close it off to our three-way stopcock, and we'll hang it up for the provider to use.